Situation. Some areas in Florida over 20 inches of rainfall since Tuesday.
Is that normal?
No, it's not normal, but it's not unprecedented. They've seen that before. It's just really hard for any infrastructure to keep up with that. Think of storm drains that can't drain. They just don't have enough time to recover. Yeah, with the rounds of rain that they're seeing.
Yeah, I feel like we had that problem, obviously, when we had our little, stretch of rainfall. I mean, there was parts of Dallas that looked like they were underwater.
Yeah, some roads definitely were struggling. I know my neighborhood currently, it's being worked on just because the roads kind of were destroyed just by the water.
Thankfully, we're not dealing with that today.
No, we're drying out for a little bit.
Getting a little chance to breathe.
Yeah, but because of that, our temperatures are just cranking up. So here's what you need to know for your weekend, really. Hot and humid through Father's Day. We do have lower air quality today. We're also watching the tropics for rain potential next week, and it's not going to be for everyone. Chances are actually pretty slim. Cedar Hill right now, 87 degrees. We do see a little bit of a haze out there in the horizon, but otherwise we're looking at a blue sky. We'll continue to keep track of our pollen, of course, hickory, grass, and fungus all at a low count. We could very well see this climb to a moderate count as we approach Saturday and Sunday just because of the higher wind gusts that we're expecting, 20 to 25 miles per hour over the weekend. We were talking about the air quality, still at an orange. That's considered unhealthy for sensitive groups. That means groups that have respiratory issues. So if you do have any of those respiratory issues, you may want to consider limiting your time outside just because we are dealing with not just added pollution, but also higher levels of ozone. That's why we do have an air quality alert. That does include Dallas, Fort Worth. It includes Denton, Collin County, and a lot of the surrounding counties, including Johnson and Ellis County. So again, something to be mindful of if you do struggle with respiratory issues. Our forecast high temperature, 95 degrees across Fort Worth and Dallas, 96 in Denton, 95 in McKinney. Upper 90s for some areas along our western counties where air is slightly drier, but the mid 90s extend all the way into East Texas. Normal this time of the year is about 92. So we're not too far off from that. In fact, through the weekend, we're not too far off from that. We'll be warm by about 4 degrees over the weekend with a high of 96 on Saturday. The heat index stays in the upper 90s, but close to 100. And then early next week, we are looking at highs in the mid to low 90s. Which again is pretty close to what's considered normal this time of the year. But that's when the humidity starts to crank up because of moisture coming in from the Gulf. So here's our pattern. We're looking at high pressure, very typical summertime, where we see those temperatures cranking up because of this ridge of high pressure. We're going to eventually see this shift towards the east. And as that happens, we're going to see it strengthen along the east coast. So areas like the Carolinas will be dealing with some higher heat next week. Meanwhile, I'll be paying attention to the southern Gulf. That's where we have some tropical moisture. It does look dry for us through Sunday, but as early as Monday, we could see some of this moisture making it onto that Texas coastline and then pushing inland. Meanwhile, we're going to still have highs in the 90s. Now, as far as the National Hurricane Center and what they're seeing, they also agree with this area as an area to watch. 50% chance of development. And if it were to develop into a tropical cyclone, it would get the name Alberto. That's the first named storm of the season. Right now, it does look like the center of circulation is going to develop in the southern Gulf before moving to the west into Mexico. A lot of that Gulf moisture, though, starting to crank up across areas of the Gulf Coast, including areas of southeast Texas. That would eventually make it inland and could bring in some heavy rain across areas of the coast. This is showing you Wednesday around 5 in the afternoon, Thursday around 5 in the afternoon. I'm going to stop the clock also because that's when we could see some added rain chances a little bit closer to North Texas, mainly the southern half of the area. That doesn't mean everyone sees rain. In fact, my rain coverage in the forecast is still pretty low for next week. Only about 10% coverage on Monday and Tuesday and on Wednesday, but slightly higher on Thursday. High temperatures in the 90s for the next couple of weeks. And then as we head towards the end of the 14-day forecast, towards the end of June, we're looking at highs in the upper 90s. No triple digits just yet, but of course we'll be watching that, Matt.
Well, let's hope we don't get them for the whole month of June. Let's wait till July possibly. Okay, thanks so much, Marielle. A new